All right, let's jump right in. You know, there are some phrases in history that they change everything. And one of the most powerful was spoken by Jesus right before his crucifixion. It has shaped how people have thought about faith and the world for 2,000 years. But what if? What if we've been missing the real point all this time? Today, we're going to peel back the layers on this famous statement.
My kingdom is not of this world. When you hear those words, what comes to mind? For most of us, it's probably a kingdom up in the clouds, right? A spiritual place, in heaven, or maybe in our hearts, something totally separate from our physical lives here on earth. And, for a very long time, that's been the go-to interpretation.
Okay, so let's really get into this. Because what if that common understanding isn't the whole story? What if the entire key to unlocking this whole thing is hidden in plain sight, in just one word that we've misunderstood? Let's challenge that old idea and explore what world really meant in that courtroom, in that moment.
So where do we start? Well, to really get this, we've got to go back to the original language. The answer isn't buried in complex theology. It's right there in the specific Greek word that was chosen to record this incredible encounter. The word is cosmos. And right away, our modern brains think, space, the universe, stars. But that's not what it meant back then. Not at all. In their day, cosmos primarily meant a system, an orderly arrangement, a constitution, a system of government. It wasn't about a place, it was about a power structure.
So you got to put yourself in their shoes. When someone in that crowd heard the word cosmos, they weren't looking up at the sky. They were looking around at the soldiers, the buildings, the symbols of power. They were thinking about Rome. The Roman Empire was their world order, the prevailing government system, the cosmos of their day.
And this right here, this is the smoking gun, linguistically speaking. If Jesus had wanted to say his kingdom wasn't on planet Earth, he had a perfectly good word for that, geography, where we get words like geography. But he didn't use it. He specifically chose cosmos. That was intentional. It was precise. He was making a statement about government, not geography.
Okay, so we've got the word. Now let's look at this scene. Because this wasn't some quiet chat among friends. This was a tense, high-stakes legal battle with life and death on the line. The setting is absolutely everything.
So, picture this. It's a courtroom. Jesus is the defendant. The charge? Sedition. Treason, basically. Claiming to be a king in opposition to Caesar. So when he says, my kingdom is not of this cosmos, it's not a philosophical statement. It's a legal one. He's saying, my government and your government, we're in two totally separate jurisdictions.
I think about what that means. It was a massive legal power play. Jesus was essentially telling a Roman governor, my kingdom has no treaties with Rome. We haven't signed any contracts, so legally, you have no authority over me. You have no jurisdiction here. It was a direct claim of sovereignty. And the craziest part? Pilate seems to have gotten it. We always see his act of washing his hands as him being weak or passing the buck. But in that legal context, it could have been a formal procedure for dismissing a case. He was essentially saying, lack of jurisdiction, this is not my affair. He recognized he had no legal ground to judge the king of another government.
So if we have these two different governments, these two cosmos, running side by side, what makes them so different? How did they actually work? What was the fundamental clash between them?
And this chart just lays it out so clearly. Look at the kingdom of God. How's it funded? Free will offerings, people giving because they want to. The law, it's about liberty. And welfare, ministers serve the people. Now flip that. Look at Caesar's world. Funding, forced taxes. The law, man-made rules and decrees. And welfare, it comes from benefactors who then get to exercise authority over you. It's a totally different model of society.
And this wasn't just some nice idea. The first Christians lived this. They built their own complete social safety net, what they called the daily ministration. They took care of widows, orphans, anyone in need, all funded by voluntary charity. They didn't need Rome's help. They were independent of that cosmos. And this is where that old warning from the Psalms comes in, and it's so powerful. Let their table become a snare. The very thing that's supposed to be for your welfare, the benefits you get from these worldly systems, can become a trap. It's a timeless warning about the dangers of dependency.
Okay, this is all fascinating ancient history, right? But what does it have to do with us? How does this challenge land in our world right here, right now?
Well, the Bible itself gives a pretty straightforward definition of pure religion. It's got two parts. Part 1, actively take care of the needy through charity. Part 2, keep yourself unspotted from the world. And if the world is that man-made cosmos, well, that changes how we read this, doesn't it?
So what does it mean to get spotted? In this light, it means getting entangled. It's applying for benefits from the world's systems. It's participating in a system of forced taxation, which is a form of coveting your neighbor's goods. It means becoming dependent on the systems of men rather than relying on God's perfect law of liberty.
And what's wild is that you don't even have to look at the Bible to see this principle. The Roman-era historian Plutarch said the exact same thing. He said the real way to destroy people's freedom is to get them hooked on government handouts. The snare of the benefactor's table was obvious even to secular thinkers back then.
And this really forces us to look in the mirror, doesn't it? Have modern faith communities, maybe with the best intentions, become tangled up with the very cosmos, the very system of government that Jesus declared his kingdom was separate from?
Which brings it all back to you and me. It's a personal choice, a question of where our trust and allegiance really lie. Every day we make decisions. So the question is, which government's table are you eating from? And ultimately, which king are you really serving?
Look, I know this is a lot to take in, and it's a huge shift in thinking. We've really just scratched the surface. If you want to go deeper, and I really hope you do, check out the source article. We've linked it for you in the description below.
And hey, if this explainer made you think, if it resonated with you, please do us a huge favor and hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with someone you think needs to hear this perspective.
And finally, if you want to connect with other people who are on this same journey, who are trying to figure out how to actually live this out, consider joining the Living Network of Seekers for God's Kingdom. The link for that is in the description too. Thanks so much for watching.